What's up everybody, it's Carl, aka Carl Drum Tech, and today let's talk about my own personal struggles learning something and how it can benefit you. Cue the music. Alright, if you guys are finding me for the first time, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, this red button down below that says subscribe. That way you're notified anytime I put out a new video in regards to the marching arts, drum lines, marching bands, indoor percussion, drum corps, all that good stuff. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single upload. Make sure that notification bell is ringing as well. That way you are notified first anytime I put out a new video. So hit that subscribe button, make sure the notification bell is ringing, and let's get on to the video. So a couple weeks ago, maybe something like that, I was trying to learn a ride pattern from a very complicated piece of quad music, and I gotta say, like, I really enjoy this piece. It's very cool. By the way, it's you know, Chocolate Cherry Bomb by Nick Werth, and so I was kind of learning that, and I just wanted to kind of like learn it for fun, right? And just like, you know, see what I could do to learn it and how fast I could learn it. The thing is, like, you know, it's, first of all, I realized that I had a weakness in learning like ride patterns. Okay, so ride patterns aren't really my thing. You know, while I do enjoy ride patterns and I do enjoy learning the independence side of things, it took me a while to kind of learn it. Now, you know, it's not an easy thing to learn, I'll admit that, but at the same time, like, I was getting frustrated at myself because it took me, like, you know, more than an hour or whatever it was, right? I was just sitting there just learning it, not getting it right away, and I'm just like, are you serious? Like, you know, you're experienced, like, you know, you should be able to get this down really quickly. What's going on? Like, this really sucks, like, I can't believe this, and like all these negative thoughts get in your head, right? And it's like, I think a lot of people go through that, I'm sure, right? It's like you're learning something and it just, you don't get it right away. And I see that in my students too, where it's like, you know, I teach them something and they don't get it right away, they get negative, and it kind of like spirals downhill to where, like, you know, they can't even like play what they could play before, right? It's like something they had down, like it just goes out the window because they're just in such a bad emotional, mental state, right? So I found that that was happening to me with something that was a little bit more complicated, and I was expecting more of myself, and I felt like I was kind of failing myself, right? But in reality, okay, everybody goes through this, right? And everybody has these high expectations of themselves, and everybody feels like they should get something right away. When, you know, I've always talked about patience. I've always talked about, like, you know, how you gotta be more positive, how you gotta be like, just, you know, stick with the plan, stick with the process, just focus on that, don't focus on the results, and then you'll get there, okay? So, you know, I made sure I keep thinking of that, right? Try not to get too negative, just kept hacking at it, kept working at it, kept shedding it, and then until finally I started to get it. And it took a long time. I, like, you know, maybe like I'll play it a couple times and then I'll get it 1 time out of 10, right? And I always tell my students, like, you know, you gotta get it, you know, like 9 times out of 10, right? So you gotta get your ratio up. So, you know, my ratio wasn't really that high. And then, like, I had to take parts of, you know, the ride patterns, like, you know, this part, this bar, and then this bar, and then try to put it together. When you put it together, it all falls apart. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody goes through that struggle, right? But again, the lesson is, like, stick with the process. That is the process, right? It's like you got to take little parts, make sure you got that down, then you put it, you know, put it together with bigger chunks. Maybe it falls apart, right? But you have to keep working at that, right? And then you put bigger chunks together, and again, it might fall apart again, but, you know, you still keep working at it, okay? This is the same thing. Anytime you learn a piece of music, anytime you learn warm-up, anytime you learn an etude, whatever it is that you're learning for the first time, a new rudiment, right? You have to be patient with yourself, okay? And I get these questions a lot of times from students, like, who are like wondering why they can't get something, like they're struggling so much. Well, how long have you been doing this? How long have you been drumming? How long, you know, have you been working on this piece? How long have you been working on this rudiment, right? And it's like, you know, if it's like, you know, just a few months or a few days or whatever, a few weeks, like, it might take you longer, okay? And like I said, like before, and I've said this before, you know, everybody has a learning curve. Everybody has different learning curves. You can't compare yourself to other people. You just have to compare yourself to yourself, okay? And, you know, in a way, I was kind of comparing myself to other people, right? It's like, you know, there's people who got this down. There's people who could play this. Why can't I play this? Why can't I get up there, like, right away? When in reality, I just had to focus on my own learning curve, okay? And just stick with it until I got it. And yes, eventually, I got it. Okay, maybe it's still not super consistent, maybe it still needs more reps, but I got it, okay? So, you know, there was that point where it's like I felt like I was never gonna get it. I mean, those thoughts definitely crept in my head, and you might be thinking like, wow, Carl drum tech, who's so experienced, you know, and all that good stuff, and you know, he still gets in his head like, you know, oh, like he's never gonna get it, right? Like, yeah, that happened to me, okay? So if it happens to you, okay, just know that you are not alone. It happens to everybody. It happens to the most experienced people. It happens to people who, you know, have been drumming all their lives. It happens to teachers. Like, it happens to, like, all the successful people you think of, right? You know, like maybe like they are super successful, but then they still struggle with so many things. Maybe they're still learning new things and they struggle with it, right? There's people who are super successful and they're like this thing I'm really not good at, I'm not even gonna try. Like, there's really literally people like that, right? So you can't get too hard on yourself, okay? Just, again, the reiteration of what I'm trying to talk about is just focus on the process. Believe you're gonna get it, even if you can't get it right now, okay? You just say, I can't get it yet, okay, but I will get it eventually. Don't get in your head like you're never gonna get it, okay? Just focus on the process, and I promise you, you will get it. Yes, it helps to get advice and people's perspectives and people correcting you, telling you what you could do, what you could be doing better. But at the end of the day, okay, be patient with yourself. You will get it. Give yourself more credit than you are giving yourself, okay? Like, if you get a little bit further, step by step, right? You gotta give yourself credit for those, okay? It's like there's a phrase that says, you know, people focus on how much further they have to go, and they don't focus on how far they've come, right? They only focus on, I haven't reached my goal yet. People don't focus on, like, look at how far you've come. Look at all these steps you've taken. Look at, you know, you can do the things that you can do now that you couldn't do before. People don't give themselves credit for that. And I'm guilty of that. Successful people are guilty of that. Experienced people are guilty of that. And you are guilty of that, okay? So let this be a lesson to you, okay? Take this for 2019 to help you learn music, learn etudes, learn whatever it is you want to learn, okay, and get better. Let's all get better. Let's all have fun doing it. Let's not get too down on ourselves and not get too negative, and let's do some cool things in 2019. All right, so cool. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys learned something out of it. Like, you learned about my struggles, okay? So hopefully you got something out of that. All right, and if you guys like this video and got something out of it, please do me a huge favor, hit that like button down below. If you have any questions or comments, leave in the comments below as well. If you have not subscribed yet after I told you to subscribe, it's cool if you don't, but it would be really cool if you did. All right, so hit that subscribe button down below as well. And if you feel like this video could help somebody else out, especially if they're struggling, they're learning something, and they're like, they just want to throw their sticks in the air, like, you know, I can't get it, right? Show this video to them, okay? It happens to everybody. It happens to me too. Like, I struggle with it as well, okay? So share this video with them, share it on your social media, and let's help more people out, all right? So cool. Thank you guys so much. If you guys want to watch more of my videos, you can click over here and then subscribe over here. Peace out. Subscribe to Drumline Blueprint.